Hi, this is Gopal Krishna Devedi and I welcome you all to this session on resume writing, and this is session 8. In this session we shall learn three important things. Number 1, we shall learn the difference between a resume and a CV. Number 2, we shall also learn what is a chronological resume and what is a functional resume. And number 3, we shall learn how to prepare a good resume. So I welcome you to this session on resume writing, and before we go ahead I wish to start with this definition given by Pauly and Riordan. They said that your resume is a one-page and sometimes two-page document that summarizes your skills, experience and qualification for a position in your field. So they say that resume is a one-page or sometimes two-page document. There are some who feel that a resume should be more in terms of pages, so they keep increasing the number of pages, but practically quality matters, not quantity. So if you are a very senior, very learned employee and you are a very senior professional, then your resume could be of 4 pages, 5 pages in case you have an experience of 20 years or 25 years. But as a beginner, even 1-page or 2-page resume is sufficient. So first of all, as stated here, everyone knows that the purpose of a resume is to get a call for an interview. There is a company looking for some potential and competent candidates, and there is a potential and competent candidate looking for a company, and they both do not know each other. But someday the company gets an advertisement published in the newspaper or on the website, and this candidate sends his or her CV to the company, and now an interview is fixed where the company will analyze and assess the candidate and see whether this candidate is suitable for the job or not. And in case the company finds this candidate suitable for the job, this candidate will be given job in his or her dream company. So the purpose of resume is to get a call for an interview. Now we shall discuss what is the difference between a CV and a resume. CV or curriculum vitae. Yes, this is the pronunciation, curriculum vitae. There are some who wrongly pronounce it as curriculum vitae. There are some who wrongly pronounce it curriculum vitae. It is curriculum vitae. Still, I'll suggest you to verify it in some more dictionaries if you can. So CV or curriculum vitae is actually the overall summary of education and experience. So when you are preparing your CV, you try to mention everything related to your education and your work experience. You do not delete, you do not hide, you do not skip any. And as it is stated here, that CV is mostly used for academic teaching or academic administration. So when somebody wishes to join as a teacher or a professor, they prepare their CV because they prepare all their qualifications, all their experiences, all the research papers published by them, and all the students or the research scholars guided by them. So it becomes a lengthy document. So most often CV is used by the people in academics. CV is also used for grant of fellowships, and CV can be of 10 to 12 pages sometimes. So as long as your experience keeps on growing, the number of pages in the CV also keep growing. Whereas a resume is a customized or personalized tailored document. So every time when you apply for a job, you have to edit your resume to some extent. Resume is one such document where you do not mention everything and you just mention what is relevant for this particular job and this particular company. It includes education and experience definitely, but in short, and it is also used when applying for jobs, public or private. A resume is a job specific document, as I said in the beginning itself, and generally this could be a 1-page or 2-page document. Sometimes it goes to 3 pages too when your experience and your achievements increase. So I think this difference is very clear to you now, that a CV is a lengthy document that includes everything irrespective of the company. So you prepare CV once and you use it many times. But resume is one such customized, personalized and tailored document that you send to specific companies. So when you are applying for one ABC company and their requirement is something else, so you change the language of your resume and you try to customize it as per the requirement of the company. And you also take care that the qualifications and experiences mentioned in the resume are as required by the company. So you have to edit your resume every time you apply for a new company. Now we come to the types of resume. There are mainly three types. Number one, we have a chronological resume. Whenever there is a word called chronology or chronicle, you should definitely have an idea this is connected to history somehow. So chronological resume is a resume where we consider the history of education and experience. So this is one such resume where we mention the latest job, then the earlier job, and then even earlier job. And this is a resume where we mention the latest qualification and then earlier qualification and even more earlier qualification. Then there is a resume where we focus on the functional part more. So this is called functional resume. Why? Because in this resume we highlight the skills first and education comes second. In such a resume, if the company is looking for some specific skills, maybe if this is a software company or an Android based company, then they are looking for some experts in certain softwares, and you have that expertise in this particular software or software development, definitely you will highlight your skills on the top of your resume so that company feels interested in you and you are picked by the company. Such resume are called functional resume. But there is one more and a better choice available, that there are some candidates and they use their mind and they neither go for chronological resume nor for functional resume. They create a combination of both, and this sounds wise also, because in a combination resume you do mention your education and experience in brief and you emphasize on your skills too. So there's nothing lacking in such a resume. So if the company is interested in your education and experience, they have it, and if the company is interested in your skills, they have this also. So combination resume is a perfect choice if you wish to go ahead. A few more do's and don'ts for resume writing. There is hardly anyone who prepares a handwritten resume these days. So the suggestion is that a resume should not be handwritten. It should be prepared on laptop or computer and you should take out a printout. Another good example, another good suggestion is that the resume, the printout should be durable and good quality, and it should be on a fresh piece of paper, not an old piece of paper. Why I say that your resume should be durable and on a good quality fresh piece of paper? Because sometimes when you send your resume to a company, the company is not looking for a candidate like you. They don't have any vacancies. But 3 months later or 2 months later, one of their employees leaves the job and they have a vacancy. In that case, when they have only 1 or 2 vacancies, they do not wish to waste their money in publishing the advertisement in the newspaper. In that case, they turn the pages of the file and they pick your resume and they give you a call for the interview. So even after sending your resume 2 months earlier or 3 months earlier, there are chances that your fortune may smile on you and you may get a call for an interview. But be very sure that your resume was on a durable, good quality, fresh piece of paper, as in the duration of 2 months, 3 months or 6 months, this should not become pale, this should not become yellowish, this should not get deteriorated, this should not go poor in quality. One more suggestion is there, that colored paper should be avoided when you go for the printout of your resume. Taking printout of your resume on blue, pink or any other color is not suggested, as it does not look professional. But a color printout on white sheet is acceptable. provided you do not use more than 2 colors on your resume. Using more than 2 colors on your resume will make your resume look childish and it will not look professional. So it is not suggested that you should use more colors on your resume. Another important suggestion is that you should take care that your resume is not wordy. That means you should not write too much in your resume. I have seen people, they have strong credentials and their resume is really impressive, but they write everything in the form of paragraphs. So whenever they have to mention something, they write at least 4 lines, 1 full paragraph for mentioning each and everything. And everyone knows that when there is a vacancy and when an ad has been published in the newspaper, hundreds of candidates send their resume to the company, and such resumes are then shortlisted and sorted out by the staff members. So if you write too much in your resume, they don't have this much of time to read out everything in resume, and your resume may get ignored. Somebody had already said that it takes hardly 10 to 12 seconds to decide the fate of a resume, and that is why I say that whatever you write in your resume should be bullet wise. It should not be in the form of paragraphs. Another important point is whether you should mention hobbies or interest in your resume or not. I would say that mentioning hobbies or interest in resume is not compulsory. If you see that there is enough space left and the page is going blank, you can definitely mention your hobbies and interest there. But if your resume is already full, 2 pages, and it is going to 3rd page only because you are mentioning hobbies or interest, in that case you can avoid mentioning hobbies and interest. One more thing there, in case you decide and in case you have a space to mention your hobbies and interest there, please do take care that the hobbies mentioned in resume are relevant to the job profile. Because if somebody says that he is or she is very fond of preparing pani puri, this may not be relevant to the job. But if someone says that he or she is very fond of traveling, and if there is a job of sales, then this hobby of traveling matches with the job profile. So there is nothing wrong if you mention a hobby which has no direct connection with the job, but still it is preferable to mention something which has connection to the job, so that your candidature gets even more powerful, even more appealing. One blunder sometimes I have seen people commit is they write in their resume that references will be provided if requested. References will be provided if requested. I would suggest you to avoid writing this. Why? Because who is more important, the employer or the employee? Who should request whom? The employer will request the candidate, or the candidate will request the employer. So writing this, that references will be provided if requested, does not sound humble. So I would say that this could have been references will be provided if required. Still, I would say that this should not be mentioned in this resume, because if they have already mentioned in their advertisement that you should mention 3 references or 2 references, then you should definitely mention references. In that case, you will not require this line. And in case this have not requested for, they have not mentioned for these references anywhere in any form, then you should not talk about references altogether. You should not talk about these references. But writing that references will be provided if request sounds awkward, sounds weird. One more suggestion is there. When you mention references, anyone who has been your boss, anyone who has been your colleague, or any teacher or a professor who has taught you could be a reference. So when you mention a reference, you can mention the name of your colleague who knows how you work and what your personality and strengths are, or you can mention the name of even some of your ex-bosses who still like you and they have a lot of trust in you, and you are very sure that if some verification call is made to them, they would appreciate your work and they would praise you. And even you can mention the name of some professors or teachers who have taught you. So even these teachers could be a reference if they know you by name. Now we come to another suggestion. that your name should be on the bottom of the second page also. Supposing your resume is of 2 pages, you have already mentioned your name and contact details on the front page on the top, but you should also mention your name only. You should also mention your name on the bottom of second or the last page, because by chance if the staple, the pin on your resume goes off, if it is not there, and your pages get separated and there are hundreds of resume lying, then the person responsible for sorting these resumes should be in a condition to find out that this second page belongs to whom. Therefore you should write the name on the second page also. One more suggestion there, practically no one does this these days, that you should not print on both sides of the paper. So please take care that you print only single side, only one side of the paper. One more important suggestion is there, while you are preparing your resume, please take care that the font size, the size of letters is not less than 12 and not more than 14, because if you use a font which is below 12, it will not be clearly visible, and if you use a font which is more than 14, it will not look professional, it will look childish or awkward. So I would suggest that the size of the font should be from 12 to 14, whatever you decide. One more suggestion, that artistic or oversized fonts should be avoided, because the purpose is not to create art, purpose is to create an opportunity, and your document, your resume should look professional. One more important suggestion, that use same font type and same font size for complete resume. I have seen people who prepare their resume and first few bullets are in Times New Roman, then furthermore some other bullets are in Calibri, some other bullets are in Cambria, and some other bullets are in some other font. Using 4 or 5 types of fonts in the same resume does not let your resume look professional. So I would suggest, if you choose Times New Roman, your whole resume should be in Times New Roman. If you choose Cambria, your whole resume should be in Cambria. Right now the font type that you are reading, that you are seeing, is Cambria. So Times New Roman, Arial, Calibri and Cambria are formal and standard fonts, so you can choose any of them as per your choice. Now we are going ahead with the standard format of a resume. So you have learned the do's and don'ts of a resume, you have learned the types of resume, and now is the time to prepare your resume. So please do take care that while preparing your resume, we do not write anything on the top of your resume. I've seen some people, they write my complete resume, my complete biodata, my resume or resume. See, this all is not at all required on the top of your resume, because by writing this, you waste the first attention of your recruiter or whoever is concerned for this job. Why should you not mention your name on the top of your resume? So I would not suggest you to write any such things on your resume. One general example, when you receive the newspaper in the morning, they write the name of the newspaper, but they do not write newspaper. Everyone knows that this is a newspaper. Similarly, everyone knows that this is a resume. So you need not mention resume on the top of resume. So on the top left corner of a resume, you will start with your name. So preferably on the top left corner. So this way your name will be there. You will write your name in the capital. Most often it should be written in capital so that your name is visible clearly. Then the name should be followed by address, and when you write your address, try to complete your address in 2 lines. And if you have a house number, then write house number straight away. You need not write house number words. You need not write HOUSENUMBER for house number, not even H and N. You can straight away write 322 Rajendra Nagar, Agra. So this way you need to write your address. This will be followed by your contact numbers. I would suggest you to mention 2 contact numbers there, so that if one of them is not working, the second one of them could be contacted. Preferably you should mention 2 contact numbers from 2 different phone devices, because if one device goes off because battery is not charged, then both the numbers in the same device will not be functional. So if the company is making a call to call you for an interview, you will miss this opportunity. So I would suggest you that the first number should be yours and second number should be of some other device either used by you or your family members. Similarly, I would suggest that you should mention 2 email IDs. Why? Because sometimes there is some confusion in writing the email ID. You have put dot, but the person in hurry types underscore. You have put underscore, but the person in hurry types dash or something else. So in that case, the mail does not get delivered. So I would suggest you to write and mention 2 email IDs. They will copy both the IDs and paste in the address bar, and you will receive mail at least on one email ID. So this is recommended. And when you write this, some space is created this place. So when this space is created, there you can paste your picture. So your photograph could be there. Please take care that you use a professional photograph which is a front photograph, and to check whether this is a front clicked photograph or not, you can see if both the ears are visible in the picture or not. If both the ears are visible, this is a front clicked photograph. I've seen some students they wear tie, they wear blazer, they get the picture clicked, but they get this picture clicked through their mobile phones or webcam. This picture also does not look professional because there is no sufficient light, there are no sufficient megapixels, there is no sufficient clarity. So if you are really concerned and if you really feel concerned for your career, I would suggest you to go and get one picture clicked in professional photo studio where they have good quality cameras, sufficient lights and lot of experience to click a good picture, and you can use this picture for years. Now the resume starts. The very first heading on the top of a resume should be positions sought. Positions sought means the post applied for. I have seen many people, they prepare their resume, they have strong credentials, but they don't have this heading there. And if this heading is not there, resume is like a body without head. Yes, if this heading is not there, your resume is like a body without head. Because when 200 or 300 resumes reach the company, there is someone who is sorting out the resume and he does not know in what bunch he should keep your resume, because you have not mentioned your expertise. And in the advertisement, in the vacancy, there were 3 or 4 columns, 3 or 4 areas mentioned where the vacancy was required. So you should definitely specify where you are applying for and for what designation, for what expertise you are applying for. This is followed by the career objective. Describe your career goal, and indirectly you should write in such a way so that you praise yourself and the company both. But be very sure that the career objective written by you is prepared by you also, because this becomes very embarrassing when your resume is in the hands of the employers. Your interview is going on and they ask you a question that what is your career objective, and there you get stuck because you thought that this is just a formality to write your career objective in the resume, and you do not prepare it. You do not know what you actually wrote in the career objective because you copied it from somewhere and you pasted it in your resume. So I would suggest you, whether you write original or you write this with the help of your friends, you should prepare your career objective thoroughly so that during interview you feel confident. Then comes education. You should mention your education in reverse chronological order. That means you should mention your latest qualification first and then the preceding ones, then the earlier ones. If it is not instructed, you should avoid tabular form where we create a table there we write the serial number, the name of the exam, the name of the university, then marks and all. Because in tabular form you get stuck, and if you have less marks in 10 plus 2 or class 10, you cannot hide them, so it is always visible. And in case you had some gap somewhere, this also becomes visible. We should never make false statements in your resume. We should never give wrong information in our resume, but still we should showcase our education, qualification, experiences in such way so that it impresses the employer and you get a chance to at least appear for the interview. Again, I would say, while you are mentioning your education, do not write sentences or paragraphs. Write bullet wise, point wise. Be smart and wise while mentioning the year of passing in marks and percentage, as I said earlier. But please make sure that you do not give any wrong information in your resume, because it will make you, maybe it will be difficult for you to get a job, and in case you get a job, then there are chances that you may lose this job in future if you give wrong information, if you mention wrong facts. Then comes special skills. So if you have done any course or diploma, if you have done any other course for soft skills or computer skills like Java or Excel, you can definitely mention these skills there. So diploma in computer could be a computer skill. If you have good communication and interpersonal skills, they are also called skills. If you are fluent in your languages, then they are called language skills. And if you are confident, bold, courageous and result oriented, then they are also called soft skills. So special skill is a column where you can mention about your skills, hard skills and soft skills both. This column belongs to those who have attended seminars, conferences, and they have presented some paper there. If you have attended seminars and conferences but you have not presented paper, you can delete these two words and you can just keep seminars and conferences. But if you have never attended any seminar, any conference, and you did not present a paper anywhere, you can delete and you can remove this column altogether. So you need not this column if this does not suit you, if it does not match you. Again, I would say that in case you wish to mention your interest, that are hobbies, you should mention them bullet wise. Like traveling is one hobby, interacting with new people and listening to music, 3 hobbies are there. You should not mention more than 3 or 4 hobbies, because mentioning too many hobbies will make your resume look unprofessional and they may not feel interested in reading this much. Again, I would say that next column comes extracurricular activities. So you should mention what you did in your school life and your college life. See, whenever you get a certificate, whenever you get a medal, whenever you get trophies, they are mentioned there in the achievements. But if you coordinated for some activity, if you organized some event, if you were instrumental in some task, you can mention them as extracurricular activities. Curriculum means the syllabus. So you had a syllabus in your school and college. For that you attended classes, you wrote exams and you passed them. But other than completing your syllabus, you also participated in some extra activities, events, and you played a key role there. So this is mentioned in the extracurricular or co-curricular activities. They both mean the same. Then comes achievements. If you have won any competition, you were the winner in any of the sports or cultural event or any other event, you can definitely mention them. But I would suggest you that while mentioning your achievements, this is not compulsory that you should mention all achievements in chronological or reverse chronological order. Here you can take a liberty. I would suggest you to mention the first prize if you ever won at the first place, then could come the second or third prizes, and at the end again you should try to mention the first prize. So when they start reading your achievements, they start with the first, when they finish reading your achievements, they end with the first, so they will develop a perception that this student, this candidate has been very versatile and he has won good prizes. Supposing I start with the third prize in the beginning itself, then maybe they may not be interested to read your further achievements, because they feel like, oh, he has mentioned the third prize on the top, so maybe this is the best prize he ever won or she ever won. So I would suggest you to mention the best prize on the top, and then you can mention other prizes. Although there is no such hard and fast rules, please take your decision and go as you wish. Then comes a few personal details. So you have to mention your date of birth in your resume for sure, because this is customary and this is statutory also. You should also mention your father's name or mother's name or both. So as per the guidelines of the Supreme Court, there is no compulsion that you should mention only the father's name. You can mention the name of your mother also. So mother's name itself is sufficient if you do not wish to mention your father's name, or if you wish to mention father's name, that also is fine. If you wish to mention both the names, that also is fine. Postal address, although you have already mentioned on the top, but if still there is some space available, you can repeat your postal address there, otherwise this is not required. Similarly, if you wish to mention the phone numbers again and you wish to add on some more phone numbers there, you can write 3 or 4 phone numbers there. Although if you have already mentioned important ones there, this also is not required, you can skip. Email IDs can also be mentioned again, although they have already been mentioned, so this also is not compulsory. They should all be mentioned, they should all be written only when you feel that there is lot of space available in your resume on the last page. Otherwise you can simply skip them. But at the end of your resume, on the bottom of your last page, on the bottom right corner you should write your name, and on the bottom left corner you should write the date and place. Date is followed by place. So this way you can develop a beautiful, a good, impressive resume. I hope your queries about resume are over now, and I would suggest you to take out your paper and sit on your laptop and get a good printout of a good resume that you prepare. This is all. Wish you all the best. God bless.